Welcome to Real Truth Real Quick. My name is Rick Smith. I'm here with Todd Wagner. How you doing, Todd?
Excellent.
Well, listen, question for you. So you preach on Sundays. People come down. They tell you, man, what an awesome job. That was the best message I've ever heard. How do you respond to praise from others in a way that's biblical?
Yeah, well, listen, one of the things you don't want to do when someone gives you a compliment is deny it and say, hey, you're crazy. I think what you want to do is be humble. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less. And so, listen, if I am being conformed to the image of Christ, if I am a steward of his mysteries as I should be, there ought to be some things in my life where I'm throwing off some fruit and people see in me things that are worthy of praise. But I want to remind myself continually where it's coming from. I think the right thing to do when someone gives you a compliment is look them in the eye and say, thank you very much. And then as best you can, redirect it. I taught my little girl, Allie, my oldest, was such a beautiful little girl. And from the very beginning, when people walk up and say, man, you are beautiful, I would teach her to look them in the eye because some girls can't receive a compliment, right? They just go, oh, they look away. Just look her in the eye and say, thank you. But then I taught her what was the most important part about her was not just her physical beauty and cuteness as a kid, but just say, hey, I am praying that the most beautiful part of me is my heart and my love for others. And to reinforce in her something really worthy of praise, right? Charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. What I try and do when someone says that, and even when sometimes come up and say to me, man, God changed my life through you, I know what they meant, okay? I don't really think that I changed their life. What they're saying is, I did what God says that he wanted me to do, which is to be a vessel of mercy, a minister of reconciliation. And I was the earthen vessel, the cracked pot that light shined through. And so I rejoice at the fact that I was useful in that way. But listen, it says this in Proverbs 25:27. It says it's not good to eat too much honey, okay? And nor is it glory to search out one's own glory. If you live for the praise of men, or I'd say it this way, if you live for men's acceptance, you're going to die from their rejection, okay? If what gives you life is the applause of men, you'll never get clapped for enough. So how do we respond to the praise from others? With humility, with an absolute steadfast awareness where every good thing comes from. That's what it says in James chapter 1. Every good and pleasant thing comes from above. And so if there's something good in you, it's not you but Christ. Paul says this, okay, in 1 Corinthians chapter 4. He is absolutely aware of this. He said, I don't want any man to regard me. It's one of my favorite verses, except as a servant of Christ and as a steward of the mystery of God. And he said, in this case, moreover, it's required of stewards that one be found trustworthy. But to me, he says, it's a very small thing that I might be examined by you or any other human court. In fact, he says, I don't even examine myself in the sense that I consider myself praiseworthy because of what I do. Ultimately, I want to live for an audience of one. And I think if you do live faithfully for an audience of one, Rick, people who live around you are going to see that. And they're going to go, hey, man, that was noble, that was kind, that was Christ-like. Okay? If what you do is true, honorable, right, pure, and lovely, it will be worthy of praise. But listen, just know this. Sometimes when you do what God wants you to do, they're not going to praise you. They're going to stone you. In fact, there's never a more praiseworthy life than the one that Jesus lived. And it got him nailed to a cross when he was 33. So I wouldn't assume that the praise is always going to be there. I wouldn't live for it. But when somebody encourages you for being a blessing to them, first of all, tell them that you're grateful because that's what you desire to be. I tell them I'm blessed to be a blessing. And anything that's useful to me has come from Christ. And ultimately the praise and the glory goes to him. But thank them.
Let me ask you a question. Like, really, sometimes we answer these questions and there's not a exact answer, but do you always articulate like that every time someone says, hey, Todd, great job. Hey, thank you. I want to be a blessing. I'm a blessing. Like, do you do that every single time? Or?
Yeah, when not, I don't go through all that.
Yeah.
What I really try and do, like if somebody says, hey, man, you changed my life, just say, hey, thank you. I think I know what you mean when you say that. I will respond that way.
Yeah.
But I hope, I wrote this silly book, Come and See. I hope people say, man, that book was so useful to me. And what I'm going to say to them in the midst of that is, hey, man, I'm so glad. That's why I wrote it. I want it to be a blessing to you. And so let another praise you and not your own lips, a stranger, and not your own mouth. I think I might have reversed that actually, But end of the day, Rick, humbly, redirecting as best you can to God, and don't get addicted to it. All right.
All right, man. Thanks, Todd. You're the greatest. Trick question, man. You didn't give me all that. All right, we'll see you next week on another episode of Real Truth Real Quick.